Are you seriously gonna eat, you fat blibbity blabbity blob?
I mean, some of you might be like,
Continue.
why would I want to start this?
Sensitive. She's sensitive.
You are listening to the Tammy Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast, where we share stories that are, you guessed it, unscripted.
That's the thing, this journey doesn't stop.
It doesn't really
right?
end. We have a general sense of the topic each episode, but really the whole point is just to show up and be authentic and let our inner child speak its truth. And I have continued to work through that story of constantly hearing, well, we don't want, got a hot dog on our hands. Yeah, guess what, Mr. Sabatsky, you do. So I'm so excited that you are here, and it is my hope that you hear yourself somewhere in the story so that way you can feel seen and heard as well. So let's start talking.
Oh my gosh, there is a crane that literally just flew by after I hit record. So that feels like a good way to start the podcast. Oh, welcome everyone to the Tammy Talks Unscripted Healing Podcast. I did it. It is technically November 23rd, and I made it out on my paddleboard, and I am recording from my paddleboard. I know for those of you that are listening, it's not as cool, but for those of you watching on YouTube, I made it. I am out in my absolute happy place on my paddleboard in complete solitude and silence out here, minus this plane overhead, and whew, it's just hitting me now that I have not felt this kind of peace and happiness in a while. And I debated even recording an episode today because I have been going through it. I've been freaking going through it. And for those of you, again, that you follow me on social media, I've shared parts of it. But man, this month, it's in line with Scorpio season where you're kind of going into this underworld. And oh my goodness, it's exactly what it felt like, and especially this last week. And so, I don't know, did I say welcome to the Tammy Talks Scripted Healing Podcast yet? I don't know. If I didn't, welcome. Oh, but I had this realization this last week, actually this morning. I'm like, that's exactly what it felt like, was that I had to go into the underworld, and that's where I was this last week. And having to, ironically enough, see things that I haven't been willing to see, even though you would think the underworld is dark and things, which yes it was. and here's the really interesting thing. So on last week's podcast, I shared about all these deep emotional things that had come up during this High Rocks event, and my 14-pound weight gain in 2 weeks. And if you want an update, we're over halfway back. We are being patient with our body. I was like, I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm not doing anything extreme. I'm just allowing my body to move through whatever it needs to move through, and just trusting that. But I will admit, I had this memory that right before November, I remember thinking I'm at 45, and I'm like, I have never felt this good. I have never felt this good physically, and probably in that moment mentally and all those things too. Like, it just felt, fuck, I feel good. And I'm thinking, I'm about to turn 43, and I feel better than I have ever felt in my life. And I got really excited about that. I was like, like, what a cool feeling. And then I don't know what energy decided to come through and knock me off of that fucking pedestal. Just boom. They're just gonna kick you off that. Oh, I'll humble you a little bit. Even though it wasn't that kind of energy at all. It was such a grateful moment. But man, so that get flipped on its freaking head. And so I got really sad on Wednesday, where I was like, wow, my birthday is in 2 weeks. From when you guys are listening to this, if you listen to on Tuesday on the 25th, my birthday is in 2 weeks. And I was just like, what the hell happened? When literally nothing truly in my physical world changed. What the hell happened? I could rationalize it if I went on a complete emotional binge bender, or I stopped working out, or none of that happened. But what the hell happened? I know, if that's a loon, I know, I hear you. Yes, preach. Is that what that is? They're talking to me. They too are here for this channeled message. But anyway, I couldn't let myself stay there long because I know this too shall pass. And again, whatever energetic shifts are needing to happen and my body is recalibrating and all this stuff, okay, fine. I allowed that. But what happened last week, it's so wild. And I had, again, mentioned on last week's podcast about how your body communicates. And my body was communicating about this emotional weight that I needed to release. And so I was like, okay, I'm here for that. But I wasn't stopping. I still wasn't stopping. I still wasn't feeling like myself. And Tuesday night comes in, I need to coach, and I'm not feeling great. There's signs where I'm like, but I still go do it, right? And again, being there lights me up and it gives me energy. And so, and I did, those classes were freaking amazing and I was still dancing and having a blast. But I knew after this, I was going to crash again, but I had to wake up and coach the next morning and I was going to do it. But then all of a sudden, my body and whatever other forces were like, no, you're not. And completely shut me down to full physical surrender. And interestingly enough, and this, like, ugh, I hate to say this because people make jokes, but I got an eye infection. And there's no way I can go out and work at a gym where I'm spotting people and touching weights and things, and I got this eye infection. But I was like, I knew. My body's like, you wouldn't stay home any other way. Is that what we had to do to get you to stay home and stay in bed? I was like, Tammy, what the? Why can't you stop? Like, where is that coming from? What are you trying to prove? And who are you trying to prove it to? And that was something that, oddly enough, became pretty clear. And I think was the whole reason this thing needed to happen was things had gotten pretty cloudy. No pun intended. And that I wasn't seeing this full picture. I wasn't seeing clearly. And having those few days where I was just physically out of commission because my body just desperately needed to rest and I needed to not be working out. I needed to not be showing up anywhere for anyone but myself. And that's what it had to take was for me to get completely abolished. But it was also amazing going back to the High Rocks experience where, again, feeling alone, even though I said in that, like, I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. I have an amazing support team around me. And they showed up big time for me as the girl was down and out and brought me groceries and picked up the phone and just, again, I felt very loved and supported. And so that was a part of everything that needed to happen was to allow myself to ask for help. I stated it on the podcast before, and then I was like, here's your test. Can you really do it? Can you really do it, Tammy? Can you actually ask for help? And I'm like, okay, I did. I did. Yes, my friend Brittany, if you're watching, she did force it upon me to go get groceries for me and to bring them over. She did not give me a choice. So literally all I did was cry and say thank you. Yeah, I had to completely surrender. And I know that's the whole point. And I know that that's the point where it's like God's finally like, it's about damn time, girl. I've been waiting for that. I'm waiting for you to surrender. And sometimes I wonder, I know I'm not the only one going through these things. And that's why I share these messages. Because I do hear from some of you and saying that's exactly what I needed to hear. And for some of you, this might be future influence. You may experience this a week or two from now, or whenever you hear this message, it's obviously meant for you. But this may not be something you're experiencing right now, but for whatever reason, I'm on my paddleboard with my laptop and hotspot channeling this message for you. So whoever needs to hear it, I trust that you'll hear it. But what I know this whole experience, what happened was, again, things got really blurry there for a while. And I love the physical representation of it. I didn't. That was awful and disgusting. But I love looking back, like, oh, it's so clear. It's so clear now that things had gotten pretty blurry and that I wasn't seeing clearly on how things had been built in a way that wasn't in alignment with me and who I am. It had gotten cloudy and I lost sight of the work that I am doing to be me the work that it has taken to show up as my true authentic self, to speak up for myself, I had lost sight of all of that. And I needed all of this to happen to get quiet in order to finally see that. And then, ironically enough, now that I see it, and I'm like, oh, whoa, it was so clear. I couldn't unsee it. I was like, oh my gosh, this has been happening and been orchestrated for months now. And it all led up to this. And then my throat got sore. And again, I knew immediately, like, oh shit, because this means I'm going to have to actually speak about it. Damn it! Because now you see it, you have the information. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to have that conversation now that you know? Now that you can't unsee it, now that you know this truth, are you going to be able to speak about it? And I could feel it in my throat. It was just like, oh, because that's where my people pleaser wants to be like, no, 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 no. Whoever that part of me that feels this need to prove and to be worthy and to just be this workhorse and do these things, I was just like, no, Tammy, don't. And so I knew coming out here today, whether I ended up recording an episode or not, I'm like, I have to come out here and open up about what I had not been willing to see. And I needed to express that, whether that's just here with all of you, so that I can kind of build the confidence to then have that actual conversation. But I could feel it. Like, what are you so afraid of? And what hit me is that I'm not afraid of rejection anymore, because if I don't have the conversation, I don't say these words, I don't speak my truth, the worst thing that can happen is that I abandon myself, is that I abandon what I truly want, what I truly need, who I truly am. That is the worst outcome. And by speaking my truth, if I lose a person, if I lose an opportunity, if I whatever, then it wasn't meant for me. That it was a little test put on my path on a different level, losing me and what I have worked so hard to find. That is the worst case scenario. And I know by coming out here and saying that out loud and being able to speak that into existence is exactly what I need to do to stay in that energy and to recognize that only good can come from this. Only good can come from speaking your truth. It may not feel like it in the moment. You may end up hurting people. It may feel like self-sabotage. But if you know in your heart and in your soul that you are speaking your truth, only good can come from that. Because if this thing wasn't meant for you, then it will fall away and it was never actually meant for you, and you get clarity. Or it ends up strengthening the foundation. You end up getting everything that you wanted. You end up living more authentically. You end up living in more alignment. There is no downside to speaking your truth. Your ego will tell you a million other stories about, well, no, that's not actually true. This could go wrong. This. At the end of the day, what feels worse? Living out of alignment? Living for other people? And not actually experiencing life to its fullest, the things that would bring you joy, the love that would fill your heart, the work that would light you up. And it felt like I literally had to climb down this dark cave in order to find all of this stuff. And now I'm like working my way back up, and now I'm climbing my way back out of this cave and this tunnel to come back up and to be able to share it all with you, whatever that is. And maybe, hopefully, by listening to these, you don't have to go down that cave or maybe go as far. And I listened to Tammy Talks podcast and she mentioned this whole speak in your truth thing. I should try that. I should try that, because whatever she had to do to figure that out sounds like fucking hell. I would rather avoid that. So let me just take that little nugget she gave me and try this on for myself. And maybe that is the whole point. And I know that, for whatever reason, felt compelled to share my experiences in just hopes that one other person out there is like, oh my gosh, me too, and feels seen and feels heard and keeps going. But I'll be honest, this last week it was hard to keep going and just not having the energy. I didn't have my workouts to channel any of my energy. And this is the longest it's been since last Tuesday that I worked out. So 5 days off, which I know for some of you is like, okay, Tammy, that's huge for me. That's a big deal. The only other time, I think it was actually a year ago when I was out in Sedona for our retreat. I didn't actually work out. I mean, we hiked and things. But I bet you it has been since then that I have taken more than Sunday off. Yeah, 6 days a week, solid year. And on top of that, just everything else. Again, that's a positive outlet for me, but my body clearly needed me to step away in order to see some of the things. And the other really cool thing that happened through all of this is on Thursday, I really needed to rest. Because Wednesday, as much as I was trying to, Brittany brought over my groceries, and then I was like, I gotta make this butternut squash soup because that's what my soul is craving right now. And I was in the kitchen just like, oh, I might as well do my meal prep now. And then Arla was there and, trying to just be a present parent. So Wednesday was not a restful day. But Thursday, my monthly muscle maintenance was scheduled through Isthmus Wellness. Shout out to Josh Conrad, my boy. And I have to schedule those out 6 to 8 months in advance. So thank goodness, thank God, divine timing, that my massage was scheduled for Thursday. And it was the first time I had felt grounded in probably the entire month. And then after that, I get home. Again, my ego wanted to be like, well, you should get to work now. And I was like, no, I need to rest. And so I let myself rest, turned off everything, just laid in bed, and I took the most glorious nap ever. But here's the cool thing is right before I woke up, I had this image. It was so clear. I don't remember anything else if I dreamt anything else. All of a sudden, it was just like something came online, it just turned on the TV in my head, and I saw this scene of me and a friend at the gym, and we're having this conversation about God and whether God is outside of us or if God is within us. And then all of a sudden it clicked to almost another scene where this program that I'm going to be rolling out in February, I didn't know what the name of it was yet, but I knew what I wanted it to embody. I knew all of the energy around it, the concepts of it, all of those things, but I didn't have the name yet. And all of a sudden I heard it. It was so clear. It was so clear. And then all these other words, like all the pillars of this program, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, okay, I got it. Sorry, I'm like bouncing on my paddleboard. My camera's shaking. So for those of you that are watching, sorry. It was so clear. It was the clearest download I have ever received. And no joke, I wake up without an alarm. I was gambling on that one, not setting an alarm because I knew I had a meeting at 2. So I wake up 4 minutes before this meeting, which happens to be with my girl Rachel, who does all the behind the scenes stuff for me. She's trying to make things easy as possible, all the links and the website and the things that connect things from behind here that I want nothing to do with. I had a meeting with her 4 minutes after this download. And she's someone who would create the constructs of this program. I'm bringing the content, she's creating the structure and the format. So it was like, well, look at that. Here, fresh, hot off the press. And it was so good. And it was so clear. I'm like, is that also what needed to happen? Was I needed to step away from all of these other things and distractions? So it's like, how we've been waiting to give you this download, but girl, you wouldn't stop. You wouldn't stop and get still. Is this what it takes to get a freaky message to you, girl? Like, what do we gotta do? Oh man, some of us are freaking stubborn. And that's what makes me laugh is because obviously I do this work and I talk about this work. I have never claimed to be a pro at it or an expert of it. I'm just doing it with you. I'm in it with you. And whether I'm one step ahead in the muck, trying to pull you through as I'm stepping through it myself, that's where I want to be. That's where I enjoy being. But it's one of those things where I could see how all of this was happening for me. And now it feels like I'm climbing out of this tunnel. And being out here today was just like finally got to the top. and could see life again and could be in this energy again and could just feel the presence of nature and God again. Because when it gets dark like that and you're in the underworld, you lose sight of these things. Because I knew there were days last week, like, I just need to get outside, I just need to get outside, and I didn't. And he was like, you're not done here yet, girl. You're staying. You haven't found this message down here yet. Sorry. And today is perfect, and today's divine, and today's exactly what it was supposed to be. But what this last week in particular, what it's really all been leading up to is showing me where I was giving away my power. That in all the ways I thought I was living in alignment, I had to clean up some stuff where I wasn't speaking up, where I wasn't speaking my truth, where I wasn't allowing myself to be seen and valued for what I bring, for who I am. And it was like I was trying to grow in someone else's pot, kind of like that flower pot that outgrows the pot, but it's comfortable, it's what you know. But in order for you to actually grow and expand, sometimes you need to be transferred. You need to be moved out of that situation, out of that scenario, out of that relationship, out of that whatever, so you can be planted in an environment that is going to nourish you and wants to see you grow, wants you to bloom into this beautiful version of who you are, the strong, empowered version of who you are. But you have to be mindful of the situations that you're in, the people that you are around, and do they really want you to expand and grow? Does that somehow threaten them in any way? Do they even know that they're trying to keep you small? Do you know if you're keeping yourself small? Do you know when it's time that you have outgrown that flower pot? And the only way for you to grow and expand, that is totally either a muskrat or a beaver behind me. Oh, I'm going to look that up later because you know that's got some spiritual significance to it. Whatever I just said, timestamp that. Beaver sighting. Hello, buddy. So maybe that's this underlying message of where are you giving your power away? Who are you giving your power away to? And for what? And for why? I thought this could be some sort of how to get through the holidays podcast episode, knowing that we were right there and Thanksgiving is days away for those of you that are listening in real time. But that's not what this message was supposed to be today. Certainly it should help going into the holidays because if we're talking about not giving our power away, that's gonna be a good testing ground for you. And maybe it is that. How can I use these days leading up to Thanksgiving or whatever the holidays to get rock solid in who I am, what I believe in, what I stand for, what's important to me, my non-negotiables, I can get so rock solid in that nothing can shake me. Not anything anyone says, anyone does. Can I stay true to that? Can I set boundaries around that? Can I be okay with ruffling some feathers, rocking the boat? Haha. I'm sorry, I have not had a good laugh in a few days. Might as well laugh at my lame jokes. That's exactly what I'm going to do. As I'm literally stuck in the muck. So she's not going anywhere. We wedged her in here pretty good. It'll be very symbolic when I set myself free after this. Oh, anyway, I don't know what else I want to channel for you guys. I think that's it. I think that's all I feel compelled to share today. Yeah, this is the 90th episode. I forgot to mention that. I thought it would be cooler. I don't know what I thought it would be. It's another little cool milestone, but maybe this is exactly what it needed to be because this does feel like a milestone for me. When I talk about that, the underground and then coming up, with that is that timeline collapse. And it's funny, my ego can get on me about this because, like, didn't you say that on a couple episodes ago? Like, your old timeline is, like, yeah. Apparently this one was hanging on, really, really hanging on. Like I said, it was just about going back, like, oh, you're so close. You got another layer of it, but and there was. I didn't even see this. I didn't fully see it. And to really see all of it, all of the connecting dots until now. And that's going to happen for you. If you think this is a one and done, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to burst that bubble. That's right. They're like, yeah, sister, we know. Preach. I have officially, no, I was going to say I've officially lost it, but no, I have, no, I have not. This is joy. I have found joy again when talking with the ducks and just being out here. Oh man, I needed this. I don't even know what I was talking about before the ducks started preaching. I'll take that as my cue to wrap this up, but just please give yourself grace and compassion when it feels like this again. It's never this fully again. You're coming back at it with more awareness, with more insight, with more love, with more compassion, with more healing, with more determination, with more clarity. And it may just be taking you on another level of a different angle to see something that maybe you weren't able to see before. So love yourself through this. If you have been going through it this last few weeks, the last few months, you are not alone. You are right in line with the energy, and you are one of us. I know there are so many of you out there. I've heard from you, and I'm sending you all the light and love and all of the things, because this one's been a doozy. But there's not a doubt in my mind, in my soul, that this is happening for us, and it truly is to collapse that timeline of our old self. Because I ain't bringing any of 2025 into 2026. Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. So this was the final clearing as we shift into Sagittarius season, which is my season. Whoop whoop. Then so be it. So be it. I will do the work. I will do the work. I will continue to do the work and show up and hopefully shed light on anything that can help any of you out there who are also moving through it. But this feels like the Sagittarius shift I have been waiting for, because now it's that arrow, baby. Choo! Yeah. It's time to take aim on what we want moving forward. And that's become more clear, but I needed to get clear about that on a soul level, not just on the physical, this is what I want to see. It was on the soul level of this is what that needs to look like. You need to get in true alignment. You need to really line that baby up before you set your sights and take aim. And that feels good right now. So, on that note, happy Tuesday, whenever you're watching this. Thank you so much for joining me on my very first paddleboard podcast. I hope to do many more of these. Probably not anytime this year since we are in November, and I was really lucky to get a 55-degree day out here. If there's more warm days, you betcha I'll be out here for sure. Because I haven't fallen in yet, and I shouldn't say that as I'm not back to the dock yet, but my Venusta's vest is keeping me warm, and I just have total trust that when I come out here, it's for a reason. And being out here today, being as calm as it is out here today, for those of you that want to see what it looks like out here, that was all meant to happen today, and that this was climbing out of that cave once and for all. And so here we are. Let's go December. Let's finish this year strong and all the things, because new timeline, baby. I'm here for it. All right. Until next Tuesday, folks, please find a way to slow down, to rest, to get quiet. Whatever it is that your soul is begging you for, please listen. Please carve out some time to listen, so it doesn't have to scream, so the tower doesn't have to fall, so life doesn't have to completely crumble. Unless that's what needs to happen for your greatest good, then embrace it. But that's my hope for you, is that between now and next time you press play, that you find some quiet time to really, really, really tune in to what your soul and your inner child has been begging you to hear. All right, until then, much love. Bye.